For a long time, I've wanted to make a video talking all about Avengers 4, because there's so many theories and ideas, plot and character-wise, to talk about here. I've decided to title this video Avengers 4 Predictions, because that seems to generally encompass what I'm talking about. But unlike my other predictions videos, this will be a little more rambly and just looking at different theories. Not just straightforward, here's what I think will happen. More of, here are a bunch of ideas that people speculated on, and some that I've come up with myself. These ones seem more plausible than others. Because this movie is surprisingly still very shrouded in mystery at this point in time. So there's a lot to speculate about. I'll talk a little about what I want to see, but more of that will probably come in a later video. So hey, let's get into it. Also obviously spoilers for Infinity War, and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and really the entire MCU, and potential spoilers for Avengers 4. But again, these are only predictions. The most spoilery thing I'll be using are those set photos from like 5 months ago, but hey, just estimated guesses here. So I think the biggest question might be, where will Avengers 4 pick up time-wise? A lot of people speculated that this could have a time jump in it, about 5 years later or something like that. That sounds like it could happen. I think we'll see the more immediate aftermath of the snap at the start, how Tony gets back to Earth, how the Avengers meet up, and then it might take a hard cut to 5 years later, where we see how the Avengers and the population of Earth have been dealing with the world now. Now the rest of this video is working off the assumption that there's a 5-year time jump, but really, the rest of this can work more or less if it happens right afterwards. I just feel like putting in a title card that says 5 years later gives Marvel more of a way to say, see, the snap did have lasting effects. These heroes and the people had to live like that for a long time, even if we didn't see it. Because when they reverse these changes, and I think they will, we'll get to that, I think that'll be a major criticism. So a time jump easily allows them to say that their films do have stakes, and this did have a lasting impact. I imagine now, post-snap, the world is a post-apocalyptic type world. Not quite Mad Max level, but you know, post-apocalyptic. Society and the government and whatnot have all crumbled, it's just every man for himself. I imagine we'll get a montage of the Avengers all looking sadly over memories of those who died, which will probably be in the trailer. Like Tony looking at the Iron Spider suit, or Cap looking at an old Bucky arm, or something like that. If this is set 5 years later, it's probably not because the Avengers are just slacking, but because they've needed this much time to salvage certain weapons, or tech, or something in order to fight Thanos, or to come up with a plan. It's now the original Avengers, plus Rocket, and Nebula, and Okoye, and maybe M'Baku? A big question around this film is Hawkeye, who apparently from here on out is gonna be Ronin, but for now I'm just gonna keep calling him Hawkeye. Like a lot of people, I think his reason for leaving retirement again is his entire family being killed by Thanos. Because personally, I actually think they did a decent job of fleshing out Hawkeye in Age of Ultron. I know not everyone loved that subplot, but personally, it made me care a lot more about him. So that seems like easily the best reason for him to come back. I think the way it could be done is that the Avengers travel over to Hawkeye's farm to see if he's okay, and they just walk in and see him crouching in the shadows, surrounded by the dust of his family. Then he gets a suit upgrade, and I guess can help the Avengers against this Titan that beat up the Hulk. Yeah, we'll see how he helps. Another character who's going to play a big role in this, apparently, is Captain Marvel. So let's talk a little about that. The biggest question around her character, since her film is going to be set in the 90s, is where has she been since the 90s? Why hasn't she been helping Earth? Well, I think the MCU has a huge advantage here, which is, it is literally a universe, stretching infinite galaxies and dimensions. So they can very easily say that she was off defending any number of other planets in that time, in different galaxies, or maybe even different dimensions. Why hasn't she come back every other time a major disaster was happening on Earth? Well, I think Captain Marvel is going to end with her talking to Fury, and being like, hey, Earth is just a tiny speck in the grand scheme of the universe that I'm going out to protect. But you've been nice, and I'm sort of attached to this planet, so here's a one-time redeem-only distress call that you should press when you absolutely need me. I don't think Fury could have called her more than once, so being the smart guy he is, he wasn't going to do it when he thought the team still had a chance. He waited until he was literally disappearing from reality to call her, and now she'll come to help. Apparently she's going to be the strongest character we've ever seen in the MCU, and considering how strong these characters are already, that might be a character that's a little too overpowered. Like if you have Thor and someone stronger than him on a team, you're pretty much guaranteed to win, right? But hey, maybe they'll find a way to nerf her or someone else on the team. Now as far as just little moments throughout the film, I think there's going to be an awesome moment where one of the Avengers yields the Infinity Gauntlet. Who that would be, I'm not sure, but I think there's a good chance it could be Hawkeye. No, but really, I think it'll either be Cap, Tony, or Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel we haven't gotten to know over all these years, like Tony and Cap, so I don't know if that would be as cool. But hey, after a solo film, it might be. And of the team, she seems like one of the few that would be powerful enough to wield it. And Cap and Tony have proven stronger than previously thought, so there might be some way in which they could wear it too. And be honest, the image of Captain America or Iron Man triumphantly putting on the Infinity Gauntlet does sound kind of amazing, doesn't it? I also think there's going to be a really epic moment after the dead heroes return, where Thanos, slowly turns around or something, and the Guardians all standing there ready for battle, along with the newly resurrected Avengers, and who knows, maybe even the old Avengers for one last battle. And they all charge with the theme blasting, and that would just be so cool. Now you'll notice I said the newly resurrected heroes, and that's because I do not believe that Marvel is not going to reverse this change. They've said these heroes are dead permanently, but I don't buy it. Look, if somehow they do manage to pull that off, this video will age really poorly, like all those videos saying they would never kill off any major characters in Infinity War. But no, I think these guys are coming back. And it's not just because they're big characters and they've got sequels coming up and they're popular and all of that, it's because of what this did to the universe. Not just the heroes were killed, half the beings in the entire universe, which means the Earth is screwed. Not just without half its humans, but without half of its animals. Losing half of the bees alone, I'm assuming, would mess something up with the world. So Earth is now just this post-apocalyptic mess. And for all we know, so are 99% of the other planets in the universe. So if Marvel wants to continue to just make normal films that aren't either prequels or set in a post-apocalyptic world, which, as cool as that could be for one Marvel film, all of them going forward? No thanks. Then they're going to have to reverse this in some way. And I think that was Doctor Strange's plan in Infinity War all along. When he sees that future, all of this happened. We've only seen the first part of that future, where Thanos wins. It's like the halfway point. The actual victory comes later. Star-Lord was supposed to screw up the plan. Doctor Strange would give the Time Stone. Vision would die. And Thor would miss the head. Now, how did they win from here? Well, there are a few options that I think Strange might have seen. Firstly, the big one. Time travel. Now, I was initially totally behind this because of those set photos. Time travel, absolutely. But then the Russos said something about some tech from Civil War returning, and I was like, no, it's just that barf tech that Tony used to recreate his old memories. Maybe the Avengers want to go back to past battles to see what they did wrong, or something. But then I thought, nah, this has to have time travel. Not just because that would be an awesome premise for a movie, but also they've hinted at it repeatedly in the last few films, and the Russos or the writers or someone said the last movie broke our hearts, this one will blow our minds. And yeah, I think time travel would do that. I'm not saying this scene is 100% time travel, but I think it might be. And if not, then I think there'll be some kind of time travel somewhere else in this film. That being said, again, most of the rest of this video is based on the assumption that there is time travel, so if it turns out there isn't, then this whole video will be a giant swing and a miss. I mean, I used to think this film was going to be Secret Invasion. Now look, they've already shown that you can bring people back to life with the Time Stone, but those were people who had died relatively recently. And also, this isn't to bring people back, it's to restore the whole world and universe, which I don't think the Time Stone could do. Not at least without some very major repercussions. Also, I don't think the Time Stone has classic time travel powers, where you can just instantly teleport to 6 years prior. But then again, I also didn't know that it let you see the future, so hey, maybe. Main point is, I don't think they use the Time Stone. Also, Thanos has it, and he's off God knows where, so that complicates things. I think this is where Ant-Man comes in. Now, if you haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, the post-credit scene leaves Scott Lang trapped inside the quantum realm after Thanos snaps. Now, I think he's going to get out of that pretty quickly, because even though no one can help him on the outside, he got out once, using a pretty simple and easy-to-think-of method. So I imagine he must have packed one of those again just in case. The thing is, though, right before he went in, and I've only seen Ant-Man and the Wasp once, so I'm sorry that I don't have the exact quote, but Janet said something about getting caught in a time loop or a time vortex or something inside the quantum realm. And that made me think, before Scott gets out, he's probably going to get involved with some kind of time something down there before putting in that enlarger disc, which yes, I'm aware isn't its actual name. Now this could very easily be totally wrong, but if there's a time jump in this film, I think it might be because of this. Scott pops out of the quantum realm only minutes after he entered himself, but the outside world has moved on 5 years since then. Kind of interstellar-ish, if you know what I mean. Then he discovers what's happened with the world, meets up with the remaining Avengers, and they discover through Scott that they can actually time travel and stop Thanos without any of the stones, through the quantum realm. And that's when they kick back into gear. It could also not be 5 years later, but point is, they now use the quantum realm to stop Thanos. Also, there is a chance that Scott pops out 5 years previous, or 6 years I guess it would be, during the events of the first Avengers, which would be awesome, but that seems a little more far-fetched to me. But hey, maybe. That would also be really cool, if just in the Battle of New York, Ant-Man suddenly pops up. Anyway, how would Doctor Strange know that this would work, you may ask? Well, he's been studying these giant books about all the dimensions and types of magic and science in the world for a year now, so he's bound to know if this place has any time travel possibilities. So as far as what could happen after that, I'm not entirely sure, but if they do time travel, seeing the Avengers go back to different MCU films would just be so cool, and would totally work because of how elaborately and carefully this universe has been set up. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on that specifically, you can watch this video. But yeah, seeing them go back to the first Avengers, Thor 2, Guardians, really anywhere where the Infinity Stones pop up, and either stealing them or learning about them in order to stop the snap from happening, I would absolutely love that. A time-traveling heist adventure through my favorite film franchise. Sounds perfect. This could also restore the world and universe to how it was, and afterwards they defeat Thanos, and the dead heroes come back. Or, another possibility is the use of dimensions, which the MCU has also slowly been introducing over the past few years. I think this could happen instead of the time travel, or it could happen along with the time travel, where the Avengers, in their time-traveling adventures, actually leave the dimension that all of these MCU films have been set in its terrible post-snap state, and move to a different dimension, where they can restore the world and bring back those dead characters, and everything's fine. I think Marvel would do this, because A, this gives them the chance to bring back the heroes and the universe, while still saying, well, technically they did stay dead, because that dimension still exists, and they're still dead there. B, it explains why Kevin Feige recently said that Avengers 4 would be a definitive end to this part of the MCU. If you leave behind the literal universe that these films have been set in up until now, to go to another one that's basically the same, then yeah, I guess that counts as an end for this universe. And C, it gives a good chance to kill off or get rid of the original Avengers, as I think they'll do. The original Avengers maybe open up this new dimension with pretty much the same universe as ours in it, only they've been going through it time traveling and figuring out how to beat Thanos, and then basically the events of Infinity War play out again, only this time they can beat him. However, in order to keep this new dimension open, or something like that, all of the original Avengers, or at least most of them, have to die or stay behind in the old ruined dimension. If they don't die and just stay back in the old dimension, that could also give Marvel a chance to bring them back down the line, if they wanted to. The point is, I think we might be leaving this dimension, thanks to the old Avengers, and now we go to a new one where the new Avengers and Guardians are, where the Guardians can still go on space adventures, where Peter Parker can still go to high school, etc. Also yeah, I'm pretty sure Gamora, Vision, and Loki are staying dead permanently. Sorry. Anyway, all this is a bit far-fetched and maybe none of it will happen, but I think it's fun to speculate. Also, final prediction for not the movie but the trailer, which again, I'm gonna see if I can avoid entirely, maybe? If it doesn't end with this line,
because if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn well sure we'll avenge it.
Then I don't know what you're doing, Marvel. So those were my thoughts on what will happen in Avengers 4. What do you think will happen? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson. Check out this podcast about movies and TV and whatnot I do every other week with a friend of mine. It's called The Poorly Planned Podcast. And subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.